Sorry, somebody walking in my direction. I'm just staring at. That's why I stopped the video. So around this time, it's very clear, really to my parents, I don't really have like friends. I'm not really good at forming bonds with people around this time. You know, we had like a little party to commemorate graduation. The girl that lived in my house, she graduated from elementary school, so we had a party like commemorating our graduation dates. My brother was going to graduate next year. I was going to graduate 3 years from that day, and nobody came for me. My brother had friends that he brought over. He had his best friend Devon. He came over. He brought his girlfriend and two of her friends, and the girl brought like a bunch of her friends over. I didn't have and a guy she was dating. I didn't have anybody for me to bring over. So I was a little sad. Two people that I thought were going to come didn't come. But looking back, like I said, I don't yearn for friendship. I don't yearn for companionship at my age now. So it is what it is at 29. But like I said, I didn't have nobody to come to the cookout for me, and I believe it. I actually have a picture of that cookout that I I attended alone. I may put that on the thumbnail for this video. So on my last video, I was talking about the games that we had. We had a lot of games. We had the King Kong game. Some games disappeared because when we were bringing people over, I really suspect they were stealing games we had because some games were disappearing. That's why sometimes I would hide things if they would come. Because I told you, a lot of her families, and I say this respectfully, I understood the distinction between me and my brother. We were black people, and they were more low class. They were ghetto. They were what you classify as a nigger. They were just that. Because the way they talk, the way they live, because they live in a more... See, our neighborhood was not white. It was black, but people made sure things were kept clean. Everybody worked. There was no drugs, none of that stuff. It seemed like they lived on a lower income class neighborhood. And I'm gonna talk about their living situation a little later because it eventually changed. Because their dad was a operator for SEPTA, like my father, but he operated on trains. He did like the regional rail. The regional rail is all of the trains that... It's not like the subway. So the regional rail, you pay money up front to get on. Like you got to pay to get on the train. You can't like jump a turnstile and get on the regional rail. You got to pay to get on, and it takes you usually out of the city, somewhere further, like Jersey, Delaware, Wilmington. You know, like I told you, around this time, music is really a big component in my life where I'm listening to music a lot now. I'm dancing. I'm learning all the different types of rap because, like I said, Rap City and Music Choice introduced me to the rap that from the 90s. I did not really listen to 80s and 70s rap, but it was mostly the rap of that time. Anything that was popular. Like, oh yeah, here's another thing. I didn't really get my first phone until later, like the fall of 06. I got a Nokia phone. But I would always use my brother's stuff when he was away at camp. So the PFL, he went to PFL for, I believe, one more year. He was at PFL. And I guess he didn't bring his phone or none of his stuff with him. So I was able to use, I remember, his MP3 player and his phone. I was showing it off to people at camp. Because this time, the last camp that I got kicked out of, well, for fighting, I don't know if they kicked me out, but I was fighting at the last camp. I went to a camp this year sponsored by our school. And it felt just like school. We did work. It wasn't fun. The only day that was fun was the last day because we'll go to the beach. We'll go to Ocean City, New Jersey. That's the only time it was really fun. But other than that, it was a real drag. But but when we would go to trips, I would always bring I'd always bring like stuff, like my brother's phone. My brother had a big, like, it wasn't a flip phone, but it was a Sony Ericsson like phone. It was just like a regular phone. It looked like a phone from the 90s, but it wasn't a flip phone. But it was a phone. And I had a little MP3 player, not an iPod, but an MP3 player. And that's how I explored music, because I don't remember. See, I'm just looking back. See, nobody brought with them. I'm just laughing now because I don't remember ever bringing for a phone a charger. I'm just looking back. I never had a charger with me. I never had to plug my phone up, because you charged it at night, and it was good for the whole day. If you remember that, the phone was good for the whole day. You didn't have to charge it like, you didn't have to do like little intervals of charging your phone. No, you would charge it for that night, and it'd be good for the whole day. Just like the MP3 player, if it died on you, you would just wait till you got home. But I never brought a charger with me. I'm just thinking about that right now. CDs, like I said, radio. I would also at my mom's house, I would always take the radio in the bathroom with me, put it on the sink, plug it up to the little outlet, and just play my brother's CDs. The documentary from The Game, The Massacre by 50 Cent, Kanye West, Late Registration, any CD we had, Rev Run. He would always burn CDs and put like songs he downloaded from the internet, like Freeway, Beanie Siegel. That song, Feel It in the Air, like I told you, I heard it on Windows Media for years, because it was like the first song I heard on like the playlist. The intro I heard for years, but I never listened to the song. I never listened to the lyrics. I never knew that was Beanie Siegel until I got a lot older. Beanie Siegel, Freeway, 50 Cent. Around the beginning of the fall of 06, see, my brother was in the 8th grade. He had a Motorola flip phone, like a blue and silver one. So ringtones were really popular around this time too. So a lot of the songs that he's playing on his phone, I'm hearing like G Unit. See, in spite of being a fan of The Game, because my brother, for the summertime, my mom got us some shoes. They were some expensive ass shoes. I had some white shells, Adidas, like the white shells by Adidas. I got the shells. And my brother The Game had this limited edition shoe called the Hurricanes. It was to raise money for Hurricane Katrina. They were called 305 Hurricanes. He still had the box and everything in his room. He had those he got those shoes because he was a big fan of the rapper The Game. And but he listened to a lot of 50 Cent's music because it was playing on his phone. He had it on CDs. We didn't have posters, but we had a computer downstairs. He would print out pictures of like rappers, like he had Eazy-E on the wall. He had Young Buck, Tony Yayo, the So Seductive album. But from when he had that song So Seductive, that album cover where he was looking in the mirror through a jail cell, that was on the wall. A lot of the 50 Cent, The Game. So we had some wrestlers on there, a lot of that stuff. Like I said, rap, some wrestling, and cartoons were just a big component of my life around that time. And eventually I get my first phone, which is a Nokia phone. It's a silver Nokia phone. You know, I buy little ringtones that it lasts like 10, 20 seconds. It's nothing like a flip phone. And if y'all remember minutes, my dad would he would give me like little minutes on my phone. I didn't have like a plan because I wasn't talking to nobody. Oh yeah, one more thing too. Around this time, the Boondocks, because we were staying up late that summer, because our grandfather was coming over. He was living with us from time to time. He would stay over for the night. He would sleep in our room. And sometimes, if it was two people, see, if it was one person, my grandfather would sleep in our room. But if it was two people, we would sleep in the basement. And we love sleeping in the basement because we'll just stay up late all night. We'll sneak in the kitchen, get snacks. We'll just this is when we were introduced to this show called The Boondocks. I think we saw it in our room the first time. We were watching The Boondocks because my dad didn't really he gave us a little leeway with our bedtime for the summertime when camp was over. But for like the rest of the summer, like around August, the end of August, like for that whole month, we just watched like The Boondocks. We watched the Jeffersons. We tried to watch the Jeffersons. We watched Nick at Night, but we'll wait till the Boondocks came on, like 12 o'clock, 12:30 at night. And we were watching the Boondocks. And that first season, because it was like the first season, the show didn't really renew till a year later. But the first season, man, we was watching every episode of the Boondocks. And y'all don't remember this too, but there was an episode that never aired, because I used to watch the little commercials on Adult Swim. Rosa Parks had her own episode on the Boondocks that never aired because she died. But that was a favorite show of ours. Football is also part of my life. I'm really into football, baseball. That summertime, we went and we go to New York for the second time. We go to Yankee Stadium and we see them play the Detroit Tigers, and I think they won. The game was so good. See, we got there late because, like I told you, I'm around a lot of Asian culture, Asian food. So we take the bus with the Chinese people. We take that bus. It's not that many Chinese people on the bus this time, but I know the bus driver. I'm not trying to be racist, but the bus driver was Asian, and he did crash into this guy. And I remember this so well. He crashed into a guy who had no legs. He was paralyzed, but he was driving the car. His car was operated by his arms. He crashed into the bus. The guy in the van that was paralyzed crashed into the bus, and we wound up coming late to the game. But we had a lot of fun. And I remember we ate at Bubba Gump's shrimp, like the restaurant. We ate there with me, my dad, and my brother. And like I said, I'm beginning to have a sensitivity to like gum and like wrappers and germs. So my dad made me lose my appetite at the restaurant because he was eating gum and he put it on the plate, and that shit made me not want to eat my food at all. But I wound up looking the other direction and eating my food. But New York was fun. One thing I will say, well, you know what? I'm about to go back to work because it's that time.